This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, and thank all of you for listening. Yes, this is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, John Solberg, and today's episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought-after 100% Australian non-crossbred Waimara briskets, and as always, they are handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years. Every week they are shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. You're not a competitor, but you still have an eye for the finer cuts? Great news. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of the cul-de-sacs. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and they're going to hand-pick it out and ship it to you. You might be saying, John, that sounds amazing, but I want to try something exotic. Well, rest easy knowing the Butcher Shop can get you your next elk steak or camel roast and a lot of other exotic stuff. Yes, they can, and they're going to ship it out promptly. Let's review the best competition briskets, check. The best pork selection, check. Giving you a better overall option to cook at home, check. So please give the Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Be sure you mention the BBQ Central Show for 10% off your entire order each and every time. You can also interact with them on their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Don't forget, shop is spelled SHOPPE. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Waimara briskets. Hey, let's take a jump on back now to 2011, where Greg catches up with a backyard barbecuer, Doug Killilea.
For the traditional After Dark segment now. Thanks to Shane Draper and Tim Patton for joining me on the After Dark segment, on the Barbecue Ribs Roundtable, which extended well into the second hour. We have Doug Killilea still in the studio from Mayfield Heights, Ohio. And let me make sure I don't screw this up. There we go. It's not going to happen. Thanks, everybody else, for hanging with me on the Ustream side, also on the audio side. Anybody else that has gone ahead and checked it out over at the OutdoorCookingChannel.com. Thanks to Kevin Bevington for doing that as well. In case you missed the interview that I had with Kevin Bevington, it was maybe like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. He is on a mission to bring outdoor cooking to the masses, and starting on the internet first, and then to be gone ahead and delivered through mainstream channels, satellite television and broadcast television. So hopefully, maybe one day you'll see me on Outdoor Cooking Channel as it gets picked up by DirecTV and AT&T Uverse. And by the way, if anybody needs, never mind. We are here with Doug Killilea, so figured we'd have a little After Dark segment, maybe turn the microphones around a little bit. It's not often that we have somebody that's actually in the studio to talk barbecue with, and this is a backyard guy. So the majority of the listening audience is in some form or fashion a backyard person, mostly. Obviously, there's a certain contingent that is competition side, and they like to listen to the people that I have on that are on the competition circuit. But Doug, you're a backyard guy too. Yeah. How did you actually get into barbecue? What sparked the interest? And we'll go on from there.
When I was in Boy Scouts years ago, in Boy Scouts we had this like summer camp, and it was a week, and we're gone, and my dad would come pick us up. And when he picked us up, we knew where we were going to go. We were going to drive 2 hours out of the way to go to Weirton, West Virginia, to get ribs. And there's this place called Happy's Ribs, and I don't know if it's still there. I know it was there a few years ago because I work for a steel company now, and we were down there visiting Weirton Steel, and we ended up hitting Happy's afterwards. But those ribs and that taste, and I was in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and tasting those ribs and the texture and the flavor, it's locked into memory. So for me, getting into barbecue, it's all about hitting that same experience and achieving that same taste that I remember from years ago. And my dad going way out of the way to make sure that we go to this rib place. It was just such a cool experience. And dads all do something special for their kids, but for us, it was you get to eat as many ribs as you want. So, I'm in 7th, 8th grade, and I'm eating a rack and a half, and my dad's high-fiving me at the table. He thinks this is great. Bring out, we're done, but bring out another half rack because I think he can eat it. And it was a fantastic experience. So, I don't know what they did there, but those ribs were definitely fall off the bone. And I actually think that they may have boiled them, which is sacrilege, but
we can't confirm or deny that.
Can't confirm or deny that, but they were like literally fall off the bone. But I liked it. The meat still had a great texture, and it's locked into memory, man. So, and then the other big thing was going to Cincinnati. We had relatives down there, and Montgomery Inn in Cincinnati is very well known. Mm-hmm. And in fact, even when I got into barbecue, there's a guy I work with that he emailed me a recipe for their sauce one day. I was like, dude, I've been there before. And so is half the country. So it's one of those things my dad did for us that, at a very young age made me attracted to the, barbecuing. But what actually got me into it was a few years ago, I met my wife, and, we were about to get married, and she bought me a barbecue class at the Viking store. And that's actually what got me into it. Sitting down for, whatever it was, 3-4 hours, and, getting training on a butt, finding out what a butt is, and doing ribs. I mean, I know what a butt is, but from that point on, everything changed. I didn't have a smoker. I tried using the grill. As I mentioned earlier, I tried using the gas grill, but I used the oven. And, I at least got into barbecue, using liquid smoke and those things to make up for not having, an actual smoker, and just fell in love with it. I'm like, you know what? It's going to be worth the $375 for a Weber Smoky Mountain. I'm going to do it. So I finally, coughed up the change for it. And now I'm smoking.
So as you look back on your time, as you say, barbecuing in the oven versus now barbecuing in the Weber Smoky Mountain, how big of a change has it been moving into that apparatus as it has been keeping it in the house the whole time?
It's completely different. I got to tell you, when you're using a mesquite liquid smoke and you're using it in the oven, it's going to reek up the whole house. We'd have friends over. We were always excited. Like, we're going to have barbecue today. Let's have them over. We're making it in the oven. So it was a complete joke. But, the mesquite liquid smoke is so strong. So the whole house would reek of it. And,
So, how would you actually? I'm a big proponent, and if you haven't listened to all of the archives of the show, to me, liquid smoke is like devil juice. The devil might as well flip out his package and pee all over you because it must be the same thing.
Right.
And I'm totally anti liquid smoke anything. But how did you actually apply it? I'm very interested in hearing that.
Well, what we would do is.
Hey, before I invite you to go listen to the rest of this show, how amazing does this show sound? The in-studio quality in 2011 is fantastic. This show sounds great. You want to head over to the BBQCentralShow.com, check out the rest of this episode, find out how Doug used the devil's urine, and also the front end of this is one of the greatest backyard rib roundtables of all time. So head on over to the BBQCentralShow.com. Link in the show notes is going to take you to the complete episode. Go check that out. Hey, get a hold of me anytime you like. John, Jon, John at the BBQCentralShow.com. And until next time on the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.